5 hours. What if you only had 5 hours this week to work on your content? Would you try to squeeze everything into one day? I wouldn't. And that is because when you're a busy creator, what matters is knowing how to use the time you already have. If you're balancing content with work, family, or just everything else life throws at you, you probably don't have hours every day to sit down and create. And that's okay. In this video, I'm going to show you how I will structure 5 focused hours of content creation across the week without trying to do everything in one day. Because yes, some creators can sit down on a Saturday and batch everything. Because if you're a busy creator, your content workflow has to work around your life, not the other way around. Okay? Not the other way around that your life works around your content. No. Now, as usual, I've added timestamps just in case you'd like to skip the specific sections. Now let's get into it. First thing I would like to protect is planning. And for me, this is non-negotiable because if I sit down to create without knowing what I am creating, I immediately start making decisions. What should I post? What's the angle? What's the hook? What's the format that I should use? What should I say? And suddenly the time I thought that I had for creating is being spent figuring out what I need to do or what I need to create. Now, planning removes that friction. When planning is done, you are no longer starting from zero every time you sit down to create. Now, planning is what makes the rest of your content workflow possible. So, do not ignore this part. And here's something that I wouldn't do with these 5 hours that I have. I wouldn't divide the 5 hours into 5 minutes, 1 hour blocks just because that sounds organized and really easy to do. Because every content task takes a different amount of time. Planning and scripting may take longer, editing may take me longer, filming might take me less time. Instead of giving every task an equal amount of time, I would give the time to the task that actually needs it. The point here is to make your limited time work for you. Apportion more time to the things that you know that you would spend more time doing. You might be thinking, what does this 5 hours look like? Now, let's say I have 5 focused hours available this week. I might use my first block for planning and scripting. That's what I would do. Okay. There, I decide what I am creating, what's the purpose of each piece, the angle, the format, and what I actually want to say. Or another time, I can continue or finish the scripting if I need to. That is, if I didn't finish in the first time block, right? Once that is done, I can now move into filming or creating. And because I already know what I'm creating, I'm not going to sit in front of the camera to try and figure out what to say. Now, then comes editing. This is where I might need to spend more of my available time because editing can naturally take longer, right? And finally, I can use whatever time that remains for packaging, scheduling, publishing, or engagement. This is the part that I really want you to understand. The 5 hours doesn't have to happen on the same day. That's kind of the point. You could plan a script on Monday, okay? If you don't finish your scripting on Monday, you can continue on Tuesday. Wednesday, you can film, or even Tuesday, you can still film, edit on Thursday, and then finish publishing your task on Friday. Then you have the rest of the weekend, for example, to just take a few moments and engage, right? Or maybe your schedule looks completely different, and that's fine because your workflow should fit the time that you actually have available. Now, if you're busy and you have one free Saturday, for example, and genuinely want to batch everything, go for it. But if you're a busy creator, by busy I mean you're juggling family, you're juggling work, you're juggling other aspects of your life that takes much of your time, and you actually want to add content creation to it, you don't need to force your life into a content schedule that doesn't fit your life. That's the essence of this. Now you can ask me, why do I have to sit down and plan? Why don't I just make my video at once? When you sit down to create, you're not asking, what should I do today? You already know. You have your topics, you have your scripts, you know what you are filming, you know what needs to be said, you know what needs to be edited, you know what needs to be published. So your limited time goes into execution instead of constantly figuring things out. That is what we're trying to avoid here. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I actually don't know what my content workflow should look like with the time that I have, that's exactly what my creator reset session is for. We look at your current content process, what is slowing you down, and what needs to change so you can build a simpler workflow that actually fits your life. You can find the creator reset session links in the description. Now let's continue. And if you're working with limited time, there's another thing you have to get comfortable with. Everything doesn't need to be perfect, but that doesn't mean that you should publish something careless. It means that you need to know the difference between this needs improvement and I'm tweaking this because I'm afraid to let it go. These are two different things. Because if you spend all 5 hours perfecting just one piece of content. You have used your entire content window without actually moving your week forward. Give your content the attention it needs, then let it go. Post it. There's also one confusion with a lot of creators. Having a system doesn't mean that you cannot create spontaneously. If an idea comes to you and you want to film it right away, film it. If you suddenly think of something better while you're working, adjust. Your workflow is not supposed to become a cage. It is there to support you when inspiration isn't doing all the work for you. And that's the difference between having a system and being controlled by one. If you're a busy creator, I want you to look at your content time a little differently. Instead of constantly trying to find more time, start making better use of the time you already have. You don't necessarily need hours every day, you need a clear plan, focused creation time, and a process that you can actually repeat. And when you know what you're doing before you sit down to film or to create, those few focused hours can go a lot further. Now, if you're struggling to figure out what your own content workflow should look like, or you think, I don't have a content workflow, I think I should have one, you can book a creator reset session with me. We'll look at your content process together and work out what needs to be changed so it actually fits your life. The link is in the description. And if you're ready to build that workflow, watch this video next. I'll show you how to build a weekly content workflow you will actually stick to. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like, share, subscribe, and keep it simple and keep creating. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.